The Mad Lad actually did it. Luke, the first public demo of Navi 23 was it running Cyberpunk on a Tesla. What are your thoughts?
Seems reasonable. Seems good. Yeah.
Playing games in a Tesla. Let's talk about the tech meme, techno king, putting a gaming system. This is what happened to all our GPUs. This is what happened, Luke. All right. Tell me what you think about
cars. I was just gonna say at least you can't scalp a car, and then I realized that you totally can, and people do. Anyways, Elon Musk has fulfilled his promise of having a video game console in his cars. Of course, it had to play Cyberpunk. I'm sure he probably could have played anything else, and
maybe a good game,
been more interesting. Exactly, but this was probably committed to quite some time ago, so that's
right.
Fine.
That makes sense.
Model S Plaid features a 17-inch display with a 2200 by 1300 resolution. Features the new and improved infotainment system, which uses Navi 23, 2048 stream processors, 8 gigabytes of GDDR6. It's unclear whether or not it's a cut-down Radeon Pro W6600 or a full-fat GPU. Yeah, very, very interesting. I wonder if playing a game on this limits its other capabilities. Because you'd think if they have like that beast mode hardware in there, you wouldn't be able to do like autopilot or something.
Well, you shouldn't be gaming while you're driving.
Well, your passenger could.
Yeah, but I think generally speaking, so that's something that's always really annoyed me. They made a changeover to Android Auto probably about a year ago, I think, where when you are plugged into your console, even on your phone, you can't open Google Maps. So it used to be that they wouldn't let you type on the screen, right? Because blah, 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 you're typing and driving or whatever. Tesla doesn't seem to care about that, but Android Auto doesn't allow you to do it. That's one of the really nice things about the Tesla is that you can just be like, I hit these like 2 buttons, which is actually a lot faster than dicking around with voice control at a certain level. Hit these 2 buttons while you're at a stoplight or whatever. It auto completes and you just go, okay, off we go. That's actually way less distraction
I was
for
just
me.
gonna say a lot less distracting. Like a lot of voice controls are just so bad that it would probably be more distracting and more difficult.
They're still shockingly bad. That's one of the really nice things about the Tesla. So Android Auto made this changeover. Google made this changeover so that even on your phone, you can't type. It will not let you open the apps map. And the stupid thing about it is I often have a passenger because I commute to and from work with my wife and I go a lot of places with her. And so for her to be able to just grab my phone, type in the destination, and it just comes up on the dash was, when they allowed it, a lot better than not being able to do it at all. So now I have to I use Waze now instead of Google Maps anyway, because I love knowing when there are speed traps. So anyway, I have to put it in park and then I can type in Waze, or I just have to hope the voice control works. But it's anyway, the point is, I think there are regulatory reasons that they can't just assume, well, the driver's not looking at it, the passenger's looking at it. Otherwise, I don't know why workflows like that would exist, unless it's just, I don't know, nanny taking care of me kind of mentality from these companies. It still makes me so mad that I can't just like key in where I want to go while it's plugged in. I have to unplug it, key in where I want to go, then plug it in, and then it works. Oh, because that's so much less distracting now. Thank you so much, Google, for looking out for me.
Yeah, that sounds really annoying, but okay. So you can only play it when you're parked or whatever. Tesla has not confirmed what CPU they're using in the car. There is a video of Cyberpunk being played during the live event. It looks like they're using their own controller, which seems probably unnecessary. Although there's another note that says it looks like it's a PS5 controller.
No, it kind of looks like one, but it doesn't look like it is one.
Oh, yeah. That almost looks more like a Wii Pro controller to me.
Kind of looks like the steering yoke. Can I just pipe in and say boo steering yoke, by the way?
Yeah, a bit weird.
Yeah.
Bit weird on like not an F1 car. You know?
Yeah.
If you're doing bigger turns than that, pretty annoying. But they're boasting PS5 level performance. Who cares? The Model S Plaid costs $123,000 US. Delivery is expected in August for US residents. And yeah, that's
There's some
about it.
suggestions from Plouf who put in this topic. Mine crypto on your Tesla to help pay it off?
Is there crypto mining apps for cars? Is that a
I
thing?
don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. First the KFC console, now the car console. What's next? Yeah, thanks, Plouf. All right. Windows 10. Windows 10 is
Quick,
being...
actually, sorry. Quick question: would you game on this if you were parked somewhere and you had to wait? I don't even necessarily know why, but you were parked somewhere and you had to wait. Honestly, compared to driving down the road, that probably takes extremely minimal battery. So let's even say you're charging at a supercharger. You're doing a road trip and you're charging at a supercharger. Would
Sitting
you
playing
game on
video
this?
games.
You have a $123,000 car, $1,000 car. Would you be gaming on
Now,
the
hold
car,
on a
or
second.
would you
Now,
just have a laptop?
I think that's a harmful stereotype that, like, actual adults who have nice cars don't game. I think gaming's for everyone these
No,
days.
that's
I
not what
think
I'm
we've
saying.
left that
That's
behind.
not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Not what I'm saying at all. I do agree with that. but
Anyone
that
can
wasn't
be a
the point
gamer.
I was making.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
for sure.
For me,
What I'm
it's...
saying is you have this extremely baller car.
Yeah.
If you really want to game really badly, you can probably have a Switch or a laptop or something else.
So, but okay. You know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate. Well, why should I take my Switch with me?
Because
I have a game console in my car.
You'd rather play on the...
I can run a Switch emulator. It's powerful enough for that. What's up now?
I think our Switch emulators... Okay, anyways, different topic.
They're not very good yet, but yes, they do exist.
Yeah, okay. The screen is the thing that I would complain about.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Is it a bit of a weird format screen?
It's a little weird,
and
yeah.
Are you seated facing forward and it's like over here? So you're this baller who has 123,000, I believe. Yeah, 123,000 US dollar car.
Starting at.
And you're gonna like sit in your car, which you've probably been in for a very long time at this point, and probably want to be anywhere else. Not because the car is uncomfortable necessarily, just this use case basically requires a break on a road trip. So you're sitting in your car for an extended period of time, like cranked over, trying to play a game on the middle screen. Like really? I don't know.
Okay. What
and
about...
then your save is probably stuck in the car, so you'd have to play the entire Cyberpunk
No,
campaign?
there's no way. There's no way. It's got to be cloud save. There's no way.
It's cloud save through what? Because cloud save is going to work through the platform. So do they
Got to
have
be through
Steam on
Steam.
here?
It's got to be through Steam.
They have Steam running on the car.
There's no way this isn't through Steam. It's got to be. And I alternate take on that. Let's say theoretically you've got a friend. Huh? Now you could sit and play like Street Fighter. Let's say you both have a controller. See, he's coming around to it.
It's more interesting.
He's coming around to
it's
it.
more interesting, but I'd still...
You could also just both have a Switch.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for me, the issue is not one of could I foresee a situation where it might be entertaining. I could foresee a situation where it would be entertaining to have that there. For me, what it comes down... Oh, this is a really good one from Speed Freak on Floatplane, sitting in a ferry lineup. Yep. So there's definitely situations where you might want to play a video game. For me, and maybe this is just me being, a boomer, right? For me, when I'm out and about, I'm not sitting here thinking, I'm gonna play like a story-driven, like a PC game. And there's lots of casual PC games now. So I mean, thinking about it that way is kind of ridiculous. I could play some Spelunky while I'm just sitting bored at the ferry. But for me, it's just I'm in a car. I'm sitting in a car. I'm in a mindset where like I'm holding a handheld. And I think you probably feel the same way. And the thing is, even though I often keep my Switch in my car, it often sits in my car, I basically never use it. Because when I'm sitting bored, for 20 minutes, I'm usually on my phone. I'm on Twitter, or I'm reading YouTube comments, or I'm reading the news. And so I think that, yes,
I'm not saying it like shouldn't exist. I'm not like trying to be a downer, and like if someone finds a way to have fun with this, that's great. I just have a feeling like the customer for this car, if you're spending that much freaking money, because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
If you're spending that much money on a car, you probably have the disposable income to have some form of entertainment that's going to be better than gaming on your center console.
Or maybe not. I mean, having a
Or
PC
maybe
like
not.
that
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's certainly. Now, I would actually be really interested in it if I was allowed to plug in whatever I wanted. If I could just plug in my PlayStation or my Xbox or my
And use it
PC
as
or
a
my
display.
Switch. Yeah, and just use
Right.
it as a target. That would be
Yeah.
sweet. Like, imagine that partnership between Tesla and Microsoft or Tesla and Sony so that you could just use like an outlet in the car to run your console and just plug into it. That's what I would have rather they had done. But if they're going to have the GPU horsepower anyway in it, then I think it's sensible enough to just let you run Proton and run some. I'm assuming it's Linux based. I actually don't know that for a fact. I'm assuming it's Linux based though. So why wouldn't they just let you run Proton and let you run some games on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like having the feature is completely fine. I just don't see who's going to use it.
Now
Outside of a pure raw curiosity one-time type of deal.
Now, i7-6969X in the Floatplane chat says, I think the idea that because you have expensive item A, you must have expensive items B, C, and D is nonsense. And under most circumstances, I would agree with you because I think that we're at a stage now where a person with a median income in North America can probably afford one of any pretty darn nice thing that they would want. So just because someone has a really nice TV, maybe they're a cinema buff and
right.
they don't even, they sit on the world's crappiest couch, but for them, image quality is everything. They've got a really nice TV.
Image and sound or something like that, but not comfort, sure.
Yeah, or they live in a small place, or they don't drive a nice car, whatever. Like, you could kind of afford a nice one of most anything if you're a median income individual and you're not living in a super expensive area where housing is ridiculous. But I would say that in this case, I think Luke's rationale is justified because we're not talking about something that costs $3,000. We're talking about something that costs $120,000+ that is not necessary. I mean, $120,000, that's not car money for most people. That's like every optional purchase in your entire, that you own money for a lot of people. I'm not talking housing. I'm not talking food. I'm talking
well beyond.
I'm talking your car, your computer, your phone, your go-kart. I don't know.
Your $3,000 TV that we just used in the other example.
Your Sea-Doo. I don't know. We're talking, that is an astonishing amount of money for something that is not a necessity, right? Even the surplus spent on that over something more practical, even a Tesla. Okay, the difference between a Model 3 and a Model S Plaid is already more than what just a normal person would own at all. So I would say that if you are not the kind of person who could just buy a Switch if you felt like it, then you really shouldn't own a Model S Plaid.
And you probably aren't the customer for it.
Super irresponsible.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And I agree with essentially everything Linus just said. Like there's a difference between having like, oh, I'm a to use a example that I probably normally wouldn't, because honestly, I think their population is increasing due to GPUs just not existing. But I'm a high-end console gamer. I have a really nice audio setup. I have a really nice TV. I have a really nice home theater setup in general. I have a sweet couch. I have a pro controller. Like I'm really into this kind of stuff. I have nice custom headphones. Custom as in not like the Xbox ones, although I don't even know if they do that anymore.
They do. They have Xbox ones. They're okay.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's something better than that, etc. Like that's not too surprising to me. And if you didn't have like a second console because you don't necessarily care about Nintendo, like you might want to play Nintendo games, but you don't have the disposable cash after buying all of that to have a Switch. That's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Of course,
100%.
You chose to spend your money on different things, but when it's a rather extreme amount of money. It's probably more than. I don't know if I can accurately make this. I would assume that it might just be more than what pretty much everyone in the chat is going to spend on cars in their lifetime.
I'm just trying to think.
Might be too far.
That's more than I've spent on cars in my lifetime. I'm 35 now. I've been driving for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like substantially more than I've spent on cars for myself in my lifetime. If we count the Outlander plug-in hybrid and the Model Y for the aunt and uncle and for the in-laws, then I'm over that. But for vehicles that I and my wife together have ever actually owned, that is way more.
And that's not gonna that's not gonna make it for everyone. So I can't say a most or a majority necessarily. It's definitely more than a decent amount of people watching will ever spend on vehicles, and it's one vehicle. So like, poof, that's in the rather extreme level of premium.
Buckalicious says, proposition: one Tesla or 11 Camrys?
Yeah, well, that's my exact point that I'm making, right? Like 11 cars would be kind of, I feel like that would be a lot to go through.
Yeah, that's a good way of sort of expressing how excessive this amount of money is to spend on a car.